subscription. However, payment still taken. Now, before we dive in, just a quick reminder. This video is for informational and entertainment purposes only, and should not be considered financial advice. Our full disclaimer is shown here and on our website. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Finance with Anthony. So today we're going to be discussing a few Reddit posts that are related to, unique types of employment statuses and other items that you'll be interested in. So let's dive right into some posts and see what all the buzz is about. So the first post is 1099 employees versus W-2. I've always been a W-2 employee, got offered a position 1099. I'm not the smartest person when it comes to taxes and such. How much do we realistically have to pay back at the end of the year? How much would I potentially around about have to take out of each paycheck? The job is only $23 an hour. Before I go ahead and accept the offer, I'm just doing some brainstorming. Thank you. So, effectively, what is a 1099 employee? A 1099 employee is someone who works on a contract basis. So why do companies do this? So the reason that companies like to have contractors is because they don't have to pay for any of their benefits. So they don't have to pay for any of your insurance benefits. They don't have to pay for retirement accounts. It's really a win-win more for the employer side. So what happens if you decide to take this position? If you decide to actually accept a contractor position, you actually have to foot the bill for every kind of tax there is out there. That's going to be unemployment tax, Social Security tax, pretty much every tax is in the books out there. The other thing I should probably tell you is that when you have taxes, specifically Social Security and Medicare taxes, the employer pays half of it, and then you pay the other half as the employee. But when you're a contractor, you actually have to pay both portions. So you have to pay not just the employee side, but also the employer side as well. So essentially that means more taxes that you'll have to pay and less money that you'll have at the end of the year. Of course, one benefit that I will say about being a contractor versus a W-2 employee is that if you have any related expenses as a contractor, you can deduct those first before you actually, report your reportable income. So there are some benefits and also some cons of being a 1099 employee. However, I would say in most cases it's better to be a W-2 employee, get all your benefits, get those half taxes paid off, as well as the employment taxes, of course, and just keep raking in the money and keep investing in your future. So let's dive right into the next post. When to stop contributing to emergency fund. All right, this is an interesting one. Hi all, just had a change in my finances and I'm wondering how to proceed. I got a new job and I'm planning to stay in for at least 20 plus years. It's a government job with a pension. That's pretty good. Automatically deducted from pay. I've also maintained an emergency fund, high yield savings account, roughly 4% with roughly 3 months expenses in it for a long time. My question is, with these new current circumstances, would it be more prudent for me to pivot from emergency fund contributions into my Roth IRA? I've never been able to max out contributions since I made it a few years ago, and I'd like to make progress that way. Or should I keep contributing to both and continue falling short of maximizing out the Roth? Thanks for any advice. So this is a great question. When should an emergency fund effectively stop getting funneled? In most cases, the safe rule is usually 6 months. So if you have 6 months of expenses in that puppy, you should be fine. So you can stop contributing to an emergency fund once you have this, and then move on to your retirement accounts, maybe saving up for a house, or just straight up starting your investment journey, buying stocks and things of that nature. However, one thing that I will say though about pensions and government jobs is that it is a great tool to have, and pensions are a great thing. However, that does not mean that your pension is going to keep up with inflation. So even though a pension maybe after the 20 plus years will be roughly $3,000 to $5,000 a month, it might still not be enough for you to retire just with the pension. So start to invest not just in, of course, your 401k and other items, but also see other items that could give you long-term benefits, such as rental income from a house, dividends from a stock, or effectively rental income from a REIT, a real estate investment trust. So don't put all your eggs in one basket, and make sure you keep saving for your future. All right, let's move on to the next post. Canceled a subscription. However, payment still taken. Hello, I had recently signed up to a subscription. It didn't end up being what I was looking for, so I canceled the subscription on the 28th of January. Today I was charged for another month of the subscription, despite canceling roughly 2 weeks ago. Does anyone have any idea on how do I deal with this situation? So, this is a great question, and probably something that a lot of us have. So, subscriptions are very common nowadays for us to have, whether it's like a Netflix subscription, Amazon Prime subscription. All of these kinds of subscriptions are important to have because usually they're conveniences that we'd like to have, such as streaming services, having delivery services. All of these are great things to have and very convenient. One thing I will say about any type of subscription that you do have, I always recommend paying it with your credit card. And the reason for that is because with a credit card, if you do cancel a subscription on time and you make all the necessary steps to cancel the subscription and then it still gets charged, you can actually call up your credit card company and they can actually give you a conditional credit. A conditional credit is effectively the amount for the subscription that you were charged, and you will not have to pay it until the credit card company investigates that, of course, you follow all the protocols, you cancel the subscription, you're no longer using it, and you were wrongfully charged. However, one thing I will say though is that if you actually decided to actually put it with a debit card or cash, then it actually makes it a little bit more difficult for you to actually get your money back. It's not that your bank won't fight for you, of course, just like with a credit card, but it will take a lot longer. Usually a conditional credit is effectively instantaneous. You'll get it right away. However, if it's cash, once cash has gone out the door, it gets a lot harder to get it back. And in some cases, it could take up to 90 days for you to get that cash back. So my recommendation here is always use your credit card when you have subscriptions, and then make sure that when you do have issues, you call them up and they'll get it resolved for you right away. And if you're unsure of what credit card to get, we actually have a top 10 credit card video for 2025. So please check that out in the link below. And let's move on to the next post. Hello everyone, my name is Anthony and I'm the host of TheLostSanctuary. I hope you've been enjoying our content so far. And if you have, please feel free to like and subscribe. Also, we have our website up here, and we also have some socials down here. And as always, leave your comments down below. Should I move out for social life or stay and save more? That's actually a very important question. I'm 22 and moved to the US 4 years ago for college. I've been living with my older brother, much older than me, this whole time, so I haven't had to worry about rent or major living expenses. Because of that, I have no debt and managed to save around 10K. Not bad. I'm graduating in May and already have a job lined up in the city, paying 60K before taxes. If I move to the city, my expenses will be around 2K a month, which means I'll save roughly 30K over the next 2 years. But if I can live with my brother and his family, I could save around 60K. No, apologies. I could save around 80K in that same period. The only downside is that my commute will be 40 minutes each way on a train, 5 days a week. Personally, I don't think that's tiring since it's just a train ride. One big factor is that I plan to move out from my brother's house to start a PhD after these 2 years, meaning my income would drop significantly. That makes the idea of saving aggressively now even more appealing. But socially, things have been rough. While I like having family around, in a new country especially, when I was sick or needed help, my social life was basically non-existent. I used to be super social and I really miss that. So now I'm torn. Do I move out, regain my social life and save less? Or do I stay, save aggressively, and put off my social life for a couple more years? What would you do? So this is a very, very, very important question. I would say overall, what I would do in this situation is sometimes in order to make the most of your life later on, you sometimes do have to make sacrifices in the beginning of your life. So that doesn't mean giving up your social life completely, but maybe sacrificing maybe a couple of years of your social life and being able to hunker down, save up, and then continue to pursue your goals and your future. This is very important because, once you actually, move out of your brother's house, 9 times out of 10, you probably will not be able to have the opportunity once more to move back into a family house. And the reason for that is because things change. Your brother's family may grow. They may have run out of space. And overall, maybe you might not be accustomed to that kind of life. So everything is about mentality. So if you have the mentality and the ability to withstand it for a couple more years, then do it. And then save up, make the most of your time there. And then once you're ready to move on with your life, then do it. Just make sure you have a great nest egg set up, because that's going to be the key for you to not feel as stressed when you move out. So another aspect that probably you're asking yourself, is it socially acceptable to live with family or parents? Of course it is. It's completely fine. It may be frowned upon by some people, but then what that tells you is maybe they weren't your friends to begin with. People that are your true friends won't really mind that you're living with your parents or your brother in this case. And of course, you still can have a social life. You still can go on about, go party, go do your things, go sing karaoke, whatever your interests are. Just because you can't bring them maybe back to your place, that's okay. As long as you have a social life and a fulfilling life outside of the home, at least for the few couple of years that you don't have your own place, then I feel like that is going to outweigh the amount that that you didn't save in the long run. So save now while you have the opportunity and keep pumping those savings. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next post. Should I cut retirement savings to save for a house? I'm a 29-year-old making $119K. Wow, that's pretty good. I recently felt like I can't make much progress towards saving toward a down payment for a house. I don't pay a ton for rent, $1,170 a month, and don't have any debt. Paid off car, no student loans. I wonder if I'm saving too much towards retirement. Between my employer and my person contributions, I'm saving around 26.7% of my gross pay toward retirement. See breakdown below. I feel like I'm behind on my financial goals, one of which is owning a house. And wondering, is prudent to reduce my retirement savings in order to save more aggressively for a down payment on a house? Appreciate any and all insight. So here are an overview of my accounts. 403b/401k 45k, Roth IRA 35k, high yield savings account 20k, retirement contributions overall 26.7%, 8.5% employer, 18.57% me. Of my gross income is going towards retirement. Employer contributions, direct contribution contributed irrespectively of my contribution total equals 8.5% of gross salary. It's roughly $9,700 per year. My contributions total equals $22,100 per year, which is equal to 18.57% of my gross salary. Post-tax Roth IRA is $7K per year. Pre-tax 403b is $10,800 per year, and pre-tax HSA is $4,300 per year. So I just want to say here that this person has a very extensive amount of retirement accounts, which is great. It really shows that this person is trying to make the most of their retirement and has a very high savings rate. In most cases, most people's savings rate just on average is around 10% of their salary per year. This person has it at around 26 to 27%. That's almost 3 times the amount of a regular, savings account or effectively a retirement plan. So when do you actually start to pivot from retirement accounts to either investing in your stocks or investing in a home? I would say it depends on what your goals are. If your goal is to save for a house, then what I would recommend you do is you take a percentage of what you're saving towards your retirement and then start contributing to a down payment. So that would effectively be a fund, like a real estate fund. You put it into a savings account and you leave it there and you keep pumping into it until you actually have enough for your home. Now, for the short run, you're going to need to do this and pivot away from your retirement. So of course, there's going to be opportunity costs, which basically means you're going to miss out on the amount of, effectively the gains that you would have had if you would have invested it into your retirement account. However, you also don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. You don't want to put all of your items into your retirement account and not diversify your different asset classes. So in this case, if you do want to invest in a house, I am totally for it because that's going to diversify your asset contributions, and it's also going to give you the ability, maybe in the future, if you decide to actually maybe buy a multifamily house or even a single family house, to use it as rental income when you have a retirement. Because one thing that people don't understand is that even though a house may seem like a house, just like an expense suck, actually a house can also be utilized as an investment tool to gain rental income in the long run. And one thing about rent is that in most cases, it usually just keeps going up and up. So in the future, you will have a lot more rental income than you do now. So if your property is renting for like 2,000 right now, in 10, 20 years, probably gonna be renting for like 3 to 4,000. So definitely another investment tool, and definitely a great option for everyone out there. Alrighty, so that's gonna wrap up Finance with Anthony episode 10. I hope everyone out there has a blessed day, and adios. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an amazing job, and I'm wishing everyone out there all the best. All right, until next time, adios.